Hey, you got the roster slide I sent?
I did. What's up, guys? It's your man Donovan Sharpe, and welcome to Sharpe Sports Talk. I can't quite remember what episode this is. It's probably episode maybe like 5 or 6 possible. Oh, 4. Okay.
I think it's 4.
Okay, yeah, you're probably better at that than I am. So what's going on, fellas? How we doing?
Good, man.
Doing
Good.
well.
Get back to it.
Good.
CME 3 soon.
Yeah, man. Less than a week. The CME is man, it is a labor of love. Trust me. It's I love doing it. Don't get me wrong, but I will be glad when it is over. Oh shit!
I was able to go last year, and I know you. You could tell the work you put into that thing is a lot.
Yeah, it's all right. There we go. Hang on a second. That shouldn't affect my. Okay, perfect. Excellent. All right, sorry about that, y'all. I'm always doing 100 different things at once, but yeah. Yeah, the CME should be very, very it'll be very good. I got to make one more set of correspondence with my speakers and my ambassadors and my staff. And I'm actually flying out. I'm actually going to fly down on Wednesday. And Myron didn't waste any fucking time. He was like, yo, when do you get here? I was like, Wednesday. He's like, dude, can you be here for Fresh and Fit and for After Hours? I was like, yeah, man, let's do it. So me and Troy Francis are going to be on, pardon me. Me and Troy are going to be on Fresh and Fit together, as well as Fresh and Fit After Hours, which is always a very good time. So let me just start off. I guess we'll start off the show because all three of us are football fans. We all have teams that we pull for. What are your initial thoughts about your team, the Miami Dolphins, Miami J?
Well, I'm actually obviously we haven't talked about the 48 to whatever loss against the Bills. I was happy about it.
Really?
Believe that or not, I think maybe coming off of that 70-point win or whatever it was against the Broncos.
Yeah.
Maybe they came in a little too cocky. They read their own press a little too much, and maybe they got humbled. And I think maybe they needed that.
And I think Tua actually said it. He actually sort of alluded to that.
Exactly.
Okay.
I think it was necessary. I think this week they come out firing on all cylinders, and now they know they had. They're not the greatest thing.
They're human.
Like all the media was saying. All the media talked about, besides Taylor Swift, was the Dolphins scoring 70 points.
Yep. That's
so
right.
There was no way they didn't read their own press. So I'm actually happy that they got humbled by Buffalo.
Yeah, bring them back down to earth.
Exactly.
And at least it was like an away game against the Bills and not a home game.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah, it's good to be humbled by a good team. You certainly don't want to be, humbled by a bad team. But I guess we'll talk about the Cowboys a little bit now. They were humiliated by a bad-ish football team, but then came back and had a pretty good win. But that Dallas offense looks like the Dallas offense and the Philadelphia offense. I think both of those teams are similar in that the offense is going to have to catch up to the defense, and that's just the way it is at the beginning of the season. Defenders, not to say that defenders don't have to have a certain skill set, but all they really have to do is blow shit up, right? The offense is the side of the ball that knows exactly what's going to happen on their side of the football. And so, every once listen, offense is timing and rhythm based and all that good stuff. So that was to be expected. All right. Let's go ahead and talk about, oops, that's not what I wanted to do. There we go. That's not what I wanted to do either. Hang on. There we go. So we've got a few stories that we're going to talk about here. I didn't get time to do the bottom line, but Kyler Murray, there are talks, and we'll come to Jay Blaze with this one first. There are talks that Kyler Murray's days with the Arizona Cardinals might be numbered. They are a bad football team. I think they're 1-3, 2-2, 0-4. I don't know. I don't know that anybody's paying attention to them, but it's become clear, over the last year and a half, and of course the injury not really helping. It's become clear that Kyler, not a very good leader, not very studious as far as film study, so much so that they had to put it in his contract that he has to do X amount of, film study for this contract to be. Now, of course, it was null and void after that, But the fact that they had to put it in there, to me, I think that spoke to his maybe not to his character, but maybe his sports character. What are your thoughts on the Kyler Murray situation in Arizona?
I think they made a huge mistake paying him because
Yeah.
you saw in the contract they put in he has to study for 5 to 6 hours. You do not put that in to a franchise quarterback's like contract. And dude, you saw the offensive lineman was calling him out, like saying they created a monster when they paid him.
Yep.
You had Patrick Peterson calling him out.
Yep.
And like I don't know how you even get rid of him because he's so expensive. And you have Josh Dobbs who's playing pretty well at a fraction of the price.
Right.
So I just don't know how you manage it.
What are your thoughts, Miami J? What do you think the Cardinals should do in the Kyler Murray situation?
I think they need to let him go, but the unfortunate thing for Kyler Murray is I don't think anybody's going to take him.
Yeah.
Jay Blaze. And I think we have a problem here with over-entitled quarterbacks coming into the NFL.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And thinking that their talent alone is going to get them through. It's not just Kyler Murray either. To a point, Justin Fields, and we've seen that happen throughout the last 20 years. As a franchise, I want a guy who's humble and hungry, not a guy who feels entitled to it. And like Jay Blaze said it perfectly, they made a huge mistake paying him. You shouldn't have to put that in his contract.
Right.
That should be, you're the quarterback. You should be the first in, last out.
Yep.
So.
Like, think of the athletes now. They are so coddled now with the transfer portal, high school coaches having to cater themselves. Like, if you have any modicum of talent, you're treated like a woman. And we know how women are treated in society.
Yep. No accountability.
Yeah.
Wow. What I think they should do, in my opinion, this is my opinion on this. I don't think, because we've all seen where teams have clearly drafted the wrong guy. Take the Philadelphia Eagles, for example. He was the right guy, then he became the wrong guy. The Kyler Murray situation, that I could probably point to a couple of other situations. I think that franchises really hamstring themselves because everybody misses on quarterback. Quarterback is a very difficult position to get right. I don't know how in the world Indianapolis and Green Bay seem to have figured out how to draft all these successive Hall of Fame level quarterbacks. The Denver Broncos. Well, actually, they don't count because they just got Peyton Manning. But there's some.
He wasn't nobody.
Yeah, right. But there are teams that are just better at quarterback evaluation. Most teams are not good at quarterback evaluation, and there's always going to be a swing or miss. So let's take the San Francisco situation. They drafted Trey Lance, number 2 overall, 2 seasons ago. As soon as they realized that Trey Lance was not the guy, they admitted it to themselves and they shipped him out of there. So football teams, organizations suffer when you draft the wrong guy, but you don't admit it to yourself or your fan base. When Carson Wentz started to sour, Howie Roseman didn't waste any time. He said, all right, I'm going to get him up out of there. So we draft Jalen Hurts. He ends up turning Carson Wentz into A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith with the draft pick, and eventually Jalen Carter is probably going to be the defensive player of the year at this point. But I don't think that Steve Keim is the kind of GM that can do the kinds of things that maybe a John Lynch or a Howie Roseman can do. So as far as I'm concerned, if I'm the Arizona Cardinals, I bite the bullet. I ship him out of there. Just pay his contract. You get him off your books. Yeah, you're going to have to take a bath in $80-something million, but it's better than having a guy like Kyler Murray in your locker room. And look, I don't know. I'm sure he's a real nice guy. I'm sure he's a nice guy. I don't want to try to attack somebody's character, but the way people are on the sports field, I guess attitude wise, I think could reflect the way they really are. And it's just like Jay Blaze said, Kyler Murray he's probably one of the first of this generation of quarterbacks who was always coddled. He's been in the newspaper on SportsCenter since he's in high school. He played baseball and he played football. So he gets drafted number 1 overall, wins the Heisman Trophy, and all this other kind of stuff. And and he thought that he could rely on his athleticism, and it is clear. I don't think they made a mistake drafting him. I definitely think they made a mistake paying him. Here's a question from Apollo. He says, "Do the Giants regret paying Daniel Jones?" What do you think, Jay Blaze?
His offensive line is atrocious. So I'd be curious to see Daniel Jones, because what happened to them since last year? They the Giants had that other coach that had a big first year and then regressed. But
and McAdoo.
That line is so bad. But you have the Cardinals that did pivot. They took that top 10 quarterback, Josh Rosen.
Oh, that's
and
right.
Then they went with Kyler Murray.
Right.
But Kyler Murray thought he was bigger than Cliff Kingsbury.
Yeah.
And when Cliff left, Kyler's days were numbers.
And I remember when Cliff Kingsbury was with the Arizona Cardinals before Murray was drafted into the NFL, and Cliff Kingsbury said, "Yeah, dude, I love Kyler Murray, man. Like, if I were a head coach, I'd want to draft him number 1 overall." They did it, and he had a pretty good rookie year. But again, it's clear that, look, some athletes can handle getting paid. But I think there are some athletes, as soon as they get paid, they take their foot off the gas just a little bit. And a guy like Kyler Murray, who was never really too disciplined in the first place, this was bound to happen. I'll give you the last word, man. Go ahead, Jay Blaze. I'll give you the last word.
Money just makes you more of what you already were.
Yeah.
And it came out that half of the teams didn't even have Kyler Murray draftable because of his size and ego. And I will say the only chance Kyler Murray has is, I think, the Falcons with the Desmond Ridder. I don't think he's the guy. I think the Falcons are his only shot.
You know what? Interestingly enough, I think the Falcons are also Justin Fields' only shot. Yeah. I think the Atlanta Falcons, dude, could you imagine Kyler Murray or Justin Fields in the same backfield as Bijan Robinson? Holy smokes. Maybe hire Shane Steichen away from Indianapolis for a little while. All right, let's move to our next story. So staying with, I guess, the Arizona Cardinals, the presumptive, clear number 1 overall pick in the upcoming NFL draft is clearly Caleb Williams. He's probably going to win the Heisman Trophy this year again for the second straight year. That'll be the first 2-time winner since Archie Griffin did it back in 74 and 75. He's going to be All-American. He's got all the accolades. He's got all the physical skills. They're calling him they're calling him the greatest quarterback prospect since John Elway, and that was back in 1983. Well, what's happening is that there are grumblings coming out of the Williams camp that he's not going to play for certain teams. So let's go around the panel here, Miami J. If you are Caleb Williams handlers, which teams are you telling, all right, okay, Caleb, you are going to be the number 1 overall pick. This is your no list.
Well, definitely Arizona.
Yeah.
That organization has proven that they're not going to back up whoever they draft because they didn't put anybody around Kyler Murray.
Nope.
And it seems like these organizations think that a quarterback's going to save them. You got to put the right people around them. It's not going to happen. I also would say no to the Bears, the Jets.
Yep.
That's probably it. Carolina, you can probably find a pretty good situation.
Yeah, you probably can.
Maybe even
I think the Rams.
Maybe even the team like Denver. Yeah, I'd say no to the Rams.
Yeah, the Rams will be good. What do you think, Jay Blaze? Where are absolute places where he's like, no, don't.
Bears are a train wreck organization, and you're seeing it with Justin Fields. They have no line. Like, football is built through the trenches, and those remember when Saquon Barkley was drafted? That was a total pivot because of the Cowboys drafting Zeke, but they didn't have the line to manage a Saquon Barkley, so he was wasted.
Yep.
And you have these teams that will try and this is why the Patriots had the dynasty, because all the teams in their division were trying to do different things here and there to adapt to the Patriots instead of saying we're going to do this and doing a 5-year plan for that.
Yeah.
So you need a stable organization that can build around a Caleb Williams.
Does it almost you guys that teams are in a hurry? Like they need, like you just said it, they need like a 5-year plan. They need to take their time, and get it done properly. You need to get a a quarterback and these tight ends, like kind of like I hate to say the Patriots again, but the way the Patriots did, you got to be able to have a guy who wants to win so badly he's willing to take a pay cut. Because if you're paying your quarterback 50% of your salary cap, the rest of your team's going to suck.
Yeah, of course.
So, I mean, teams got to be able to find the right situation and talent evaluate these quarterbacks to the point where they don't have to cut their losses 2 or 3 years down the road and start all over again.
Yep, I agree. So Apollo, his list is Arizona, Chicago, New York Jets, and New England Patriots are a no-go for Caleb Williams. I have 2 rules. Like if we're all going to be like, if we're Sharpe, Jay, and Blaze, Sports Agency Inc., the 2 rules that I would probably put in place in terms of steering my number 1 overall pick client away from a certain football team. The 2 requirements or the 2 disqualifications is number 1, you're a bad organization. Yep. Arizona, Chicago, the New York Jets are bad organizations. Dude, the Cleveland Browns are a bad organization. They're having a little bit of a nice run now, but only because they paid Deshaun Watson $230 million guaranteed, something they should never have done in the first place. They were desperate. They do desperate things. That's the first qualification. The second qualification is a defensive-minded head coach. Guys, we are starting, like, the data is clear. If you have a defensive-minded head coach outside of the Buffalo Bills, who had Brian Daboll for a couple of years, that's the only reason why their offense was viable. The coaches that are the most successful and the most successful early are offensive quarterbacks. Love Robert Saleh, but there is I love the New York Jets. I like their brand and toughness, but there is a reason why they're in the top 5 of overall picks every year, because they can't develop quarterbacks. The Chicago Bears, Matt Eberflus, defensive head coach. New York Jets, defensive head coach. Love Jonathan Gannon. He got us to the Super Bowl, defensive head coach in Arizona. And New England, defensive head coach in Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick is not... it's interesting. Bill Belichick is the most accomplished. I think he's the most accomplished head coach of all time. But I think the longer we go without him and Brady and his ineptitude, I think the more we're starting to figure out, hey, look, give Belichick, he's the greatest coach of all time. He won 6 Super Bowls. No one's ever going to take that away. I'm not going to sit here and say he didn't have anything to do with it, but it's pretty clear now that the system, the Patriot way, was really based on the hyperactive, the work ethic of a Tom Brady. So Bill Belichick, now a defensive-minded head coach, now he's kind of a relic of a head coach right now. So if I'm Caleb Williams, I say, hey, look, stay away from the bad organizations and stay away from a defensive head coach. You need an offensive head coach that is going to allow you to flourish and get you the right coaching so that you can be successful and not end up like a Zach Wilson, who has all the talent in the world, but nobody in the building can help him except for one person who's a 40-year-old with a torn Achilles.
Let me throw one at you. You tell me if you think it might be a good fit. It on the surface, based on what I know from them, it sounds like it'd be a great fit for Caleb Williams. What about the Tennessee Titans?
No, nope, not the Tennessee Titans. Mike Vrabel, very good head coach. He's a defensive head coach. Okay. And look, the Titans are good every year. They really, really are. But you have to be able to develop the quarterback position, man. Yeah, he had Ryan Tannehill. I think Ryan Tannehill got him to an AFC title game. But let's face it, nobody expected them to be there, and nobody expected them to actually give Tom Brady his last loss in New England for them to go to the AFC title game. So, look, now here's the thing. The Titans are a very, very well-run organization. So if Caleb Williams tells me, you know what, I wouldn't mind Tennessee. I kind of like Mike Vrabel. I would push back a little bit, but eventually he's the client. He tells me where to go. Any other suggestions? Tennessee, I think, would probably be a good fit, but not as good a fit as maybe some other teams.
The biggest problem with the defensive head coaches is you might have a really good young coordinator that the quarterback clicks with.
Yes.
And if he does well, that coordinator is getting elevated to a different team.
That's right.
As a head coach.
That's
and
right.
He loses that. And then you have to take a step back.
That's right. That's
the biggest issue.
That's what's happening in Philadelphia right now. I mean, listen, Jalen Hurts is still doing very, very well, but the offense doesn't look the same since we lost Shane Steichen. Any other suggestions? I don't really know. Let me look at something here. Let me look at this no list.
I think the Rams are the best fit for him.
Oh, yes.
I think Denver might be a good fit.
Denver's a good, yeah. Let's go with so the Rams. Yes, they play indoors. They're in Los Angeles. Offensive head coach. I think that's a good fit. What was the second suggestion?
I said Denver.
Yeah, Broncos would be good.
Yeah, absolutely. Sean Payton, offensive genius. Obviously, he's not going to Kansas City. He's not going to Baltimore. Cleveland's
I will say one of the other top quarterbacks would have a better skill set for a Sean Payton, I think.
Who?
Because I think he would want somebody similar to Drew Brees. You think?
I mean, maybe. He is coaching Russell Wilson, but and now we're starting to figure out that Russell Wilson wasn't the problem in Denver last year. It was clearly Nathaniel Hackett. Right. But I think that would be, who knows? Maybe he is looking for the 5'10" quarterback who's deadly accurate. I don't think the Bears. I don't know. Do you think the Bears? Do you think the Steelers will be looking for a quarterback after this season if we don't see any more improvement from Kenny Pickett?
Have you heard what's happening with the OC there?
No. Other than he should be fired. What's going on with him?
So, according to rumors, and I've seen some of the posts, he made his own burner account, and he is propping himself up and taking digs at his quarterback.
Oh my God!
He's trying to throw the absolute dirt on the quarterback, and I would be very curious to see what he could do with an actual OC. And you have Ben Roethlisberger doing a podcast, and he's talking about the offense and stuff. What if they removed the OC and hired? I don't think the fan base would have any issues hiring Ben Roethlisberger to run the offense.
Yeah, no.
No.
No. Ben Roethlisberger is not. And see, here's the thing: Ben Roethlisberger was not always the most studious. In terms of film study and things of that nature. And Roethlisberger, I don't think has ever coached. I mean, outside of Little League. So I don't know that I would agree with Ben Roethlisberger, but I do know this. I know that Matt Canada, he's got to be up out of there. Mike Tomlin,
he needs to leave.
He's got to go. Look, I'm sure he's a wonderful. Damn. I'm sure he's a wonderful human being. He's just a bad offensive coordinator. And once again, Kenny Pickett has a defensive look. If you're going to go to an organization that has a defensive head coach, you got to have a Shane Steichen type offensive mind there. Sean Payton, Sean Payton. Who else is an offensive guy? The guy up in Minnesota. Kevin, whatever his name is. Let me go through a couple of other teams here. Let's see here. The Bears, right. I don't think I would advise him not to go to the Bears. You never know what's going to happen. The Bengals, he's not going to the Bengals. He's not going to the Niners, not going to the Chargers, not going to the Cowboys.
Probably not the Raiders either.
Probably not the Raiders. The Giants, possibly. Now, that would be a good fit for Caleb Williams. Brian Daboll, offensive head coach. He's worked with Josh Allen before. The Buccaneers, I think, would be a good fit for him if they fire their head coach, Todd Bowles, a defensive guy. Atlanta Falcons, Arthur Smith. Dude, can you imagine Caleb Williams and Bijan Robinson in the same backfield together in Atlanta and that fast track? Holy moly.
But let's be realistic about this. What's the likelihood that Atlanta ends up with the number one pick? I think if I'm Caleb Williams' agent, I need to have the right team, the team that Caleb Williams wants. I need to have them declare their intentions to trade up well before Caleb Williams has to.
Ooh, I like that. I like that.
If not, stay in school. Stay in school.
No, I agree. Oh boy. EC 2189 says those three franchises are in need of a quarterback long term. Two are big markets that will expand his brand. No, I agree. Here's another one. Apollo says, what about Caleb in Washington? Now, you know what?
They got to get rid of Ron Rivera. And I think they probably will. Not because he's a bad head coach. Well, not because he's a bad defensive coordinator, but there are just certain guys who are just better coordinators than head coaches. And listen, I give every coordinator credit for trying to take that next step. Being a head coach is not for everybody, but if they get rid, like if he goes to Washington and they can, and who knows, maybe Eric Bieniemy is sort of the guy there. Maybe if they don't fire Rivera, maybe Bieniemy can, maybe use some of the same techniques he allegedly used with Patrick Mahomes. So I think that would be a I think the Redskins would be a very good fit. Go ahead, Blaze.
I think you have to get rid of Ron before the half of the of the season and really see what Eric the Enemy can do.
Yeah.
And then he can decide, because
Okay.
we don't know what kind of head coach Eric would be.
That's very
And
true.
they would have to pivot to an offensive coordinator, like maybe the Lions OC
Yep.
might get that job.
Yep.
And then
Okay, very good. Excellent. All right, let's move to our next story. So Chase Claypool was traded from the Chicago Bears to the Miami Dolphins for basically a bag of chips and maybe a draft pick or so. So Miami, Jay, what are your thoughts as this is your team? What are your thoughts on Claypool getting traded to Miami?
I love the trade, not necessarily because we got Chase Pool, mainly because we gave up basically nothing.
Right.
We gave up a 6th rounder, got back a 7th rounder, and got him. And he fits. Hopefully, he can get his locker room issues sorted here in Miami. But he fits a profile of a player that Miami is missing. That's that big body receiver, that big body possession guy. We don't have that. We have a bunch of speedsters all over the damn field.
God damn, they are.
But we don't have that guy that can run the fade in the end zone.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep,
So
I agree.
I like the trade a lot. I hope he fixes his off the field issues and his attitude issues, and you know, and we can use him because honestly, the big percent or the biggest body we have out there in the receiving court's the Smythe tight end guy who honestly he's just pedestrian, to be honest.
Right.
He's mediocre. So we need another big body, and I think this might be a good trade.
Okay, boys, what are your thoughts on Chase Claypool to the Dolphins?
I don't know, because he needs a mentor. He needs somebody to like take him under his wing and get him up there. But that's not going to be Tyreek Hill. That's not going to be Waddle because he's too young.
Yeah.
It would have to be Mike McDaniel. It would have to be Mike McDaniel himself.
Yeah.
Oh,
but there's huge upside. You didn't lose anything. So yeah, it's a good trade. If he causes any locker room distractions, you're not really losing anything because you have 2 stud wideouts. Exactly. So you can just say, hey, kick rocks. And you need to make it clear this is your last shot.
Mm-hmm. If he can't make it in Miami after going to 2 other teams and having problems, he's not going to go.
Yeah.
I think this is a home run trade. I think the reason why Chase Claypool has been distracted in Chicago is because he's on a bad football team.
Yep.
If he had gotten traded to the Dolphins and the Dolphins were a bad football team, then he'll spiral out of control because there's a lot more trouble. There is a lot more trouble to get into in Miami than in Chicago. Not that there isn't trouble to get into in Chicago, but listen, we all know about Miami and the potential craziness that can go on down there. But I think this helps rejuvenate his career. And I think now that he is going to be playing for a contender, that's going to help to motivate him. Now, he played for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Steelers were never in it, but they were never out of it, right? Okay, no problem. Then he gets traded to the Bears. He was supposed to be a splash guy. They ended up getting DJ Moore. The problem is the Bears are terrible. They got their first win in almost a year back on Thursday night, but they were terrible. It's like you drive to work in the morning, you're like, dude, I have no chance to win. So I think that this is potentially a very good trade for both parties involved. Sweet Spot 909 says, I joined in the middle. Did you guys cover the Trevor Bauer story yet? No, but we will be very, very shortly. We will definitely be talking about Trevor Bauer. Our next story, Jonathan Taylor. Now, this is something that I didn't expect. You guys remember that Jonathan Taylor held out of training camp, didn't go to training camp. Then there were the comments by Jim Irsay and blah, 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 blah. Sat out. Now they've agreed to a 3-year, $42 million contract, $26.5 million guaranteed, $14 million a year. That's almost as much as Christian McCaffrey's making. Miami J, what are your thoughts, man? Is this good, bad, indifferent?
I think it's a horrible deal. The Colts made I mean, I don't begrudge him for taking this money. God bless him, but I think the Colts needed to get at least a couple of games out of him to make sure he's back.
Yeah.
Last season, I remember he was my number 1 draft pick in fantasy, and he sucked.
I had him the year before in his rookie year, and he helped me win it.
Yeah, he was awesome. But how are you going to extend the guy who's only essentially played 1 year?
Yeah.
He missed most of last year. He's coming off an injury. You had to give him at least 3 weeks. Play him and wait till your bye week, whenever that is, for the Colts. Then maybe talk contract. But I'll give it to his agent. His agent pulled the fast one there because that's a great deal for him.
Yeah, it is absolutely. Blaze, what are your thoughts?
So you have a cheap quarterback, so it's not like devastating right now.
Yeah.
But you could have traded for Devontae Adams and paid him. But now with paying him this amount of money, I don't think you can trade for Devontae Adams anymore.
No.
And Jonathan Taylor has a lot of pressure on him because the only running back that has somewhat worked, and Christian McCaffrey had 2 injury seasons with
right.
Carolina after getting his money.
Yep.
If Jonathan Taylor screws it up, he's going to screw it up for a lot of running backs.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Not many are the running backs that can come back from an injury. The only one I can think of is maybe Deuce McAllister, Adrian Peterson, and McCaffrey. That's it.
Yeah. Adrian. Oh, I remember Deuce McAllister. Yeah, Adrian Peterson came back and he came back and rushed for what 2,000 yards.
Yeah.
I agree with. Yeah, of course. I agree with Blaze on this one. Look, I think it's a bad deal for the Colts, but because they have Anthony Richardson on the cheap, I think that's the reason why they were able to do this. Because remember, with the whole Zeke and with the whole Zeke Elliott situation with Dak Prescott, the reason they were able to pay Zeke is because they had Dak on his rookie deal. But as soon as they gave Dak his money, Zeke had to be up out of there. They just
and
salaries a salary cap space. Go ahead.
And the Cowboys had to lose Amari Cooper because of Zeke's salary.
Exactly
if they didn't pay Zeke, they would have kept Cooper, and we would have Amari Cooper. We'd have a 3. Yeah, we'd have even better wideout core.
No, I agree.
The longer we go, it's obvious to me that the running back position, obviously you need the talent, you need to be a good running back, but it's a lot more affected by your offensive line and your downhill blocking than a lot of other positions. These running backs are extremely streaky. They'll have one great season and then they'll disappear. Look at Jay Ajayi. He had that almost Jay Ajayi.
Oh, yes.
He had that almost 2,000-yard season in Miami. Then he went to Philly and stunk it up.
Yeah, but he won a Super Bowl here.
Well, he did, but he was part of like a.
But you're right. We had how many 17 running backs that year?
Yeah, you're right.
Dude,
but
we had
running backs.
Oh God, yeah.
That's the thing about running backs. They'll have a great season, and then everybody will be expecting the world of them, and they'll throw out a stinker. And I think the Colts made a bad deal here.
I think. No, go ahead, Blaze. You got it.
Oh, so college is more pass game oriented and run and gun. So they're not training up the offensive linemen as well as they did in the past. So you have to hit on a bunch of offensive linemen to get your line to the level where they can protect a good one.
And look, this is why Ezekiel Elliott bought the entire offensive line, a bunch of scooters his rookie year, because he knew that they were primarily the reason he was doing well. What I think needs to happen, I think they need to make some sort of a running back. They need to make some sort of a running back exception, because the running back position is not that it's not valuable. The problem is that running backs are injured more often than any other player on the field. They're beat up more than any other player on the field. I mean, it's like getting into a car wreck every single solitary play. But you've got to have the running back. You got to have a good running back to get the defense to play honest and not to cheat up and put 13 guys in the box or some crazy number like that. And so what needs to happen, I think the running back contract needs to be separate from the other positions. I think they need to have a maximum, almost like the NBA, have a maximum running back contract, but have that not count against the salary cap, because they really are getting screwed over here. Because let's just say Jonathan Taylor plays the next 3 years without any injuries. We will all be surprised if that happens, right? Yeah. We'll be surprised if he's not hurt within the next 3 years. And so I think that running backs need to be protected. And I think it starts with the NFL maybe bolstering their contracts and maybe making it separate from the salary cap issue.
I think the rookie contract for the running back needs to be more incentive based, because you had Zeke play over his contract multiple years. You need to pay them for that.
Yeah.
For doing that.
You just said very interesting. Sorry, finish up.
And I think, I do agree. You need to create the running back separate from the salary cap, so you can actually pay the guys that go over the threshold of what they we're doing.
Yeah, what you just said just reminded me of probably one of the best running back contracts that worked that I've ever seen, and that was Ricky Williams' first contract in Miami.
Yes.
It was minimum wage, but it was heavy on the incentives. And the guy ran for like 2,000 yards that season. He did fantastic.
Yeah. He was unbelievable. Yeah.
That was a great contract that the Dolphins did back then.
So might that be it? Like, so do we make them heavy incentive laden contracts for running back and you're paid by performance? But because we also have to give them security too, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
You don't have to
I think it's
Ricky Williams one, like where it was literally minimum wage for an NFL veteran.
Yeah, league minimum.
But there's got to be a middle ground there.
Okay. Blaze, I'll give you the last word on this.
You're sacrificing a lot of positions by paying them, and if they're hurt. So and you're losing like at least a good wideout, and you can't have that. Like you need to make it incentive based, because even if they play over that, you're doing pretty well, and that's not as bad. But if you have an injury prone running back after their first contract, you're screwed.
That's the thing, and I think that this is something that the NFL needs to acknowledge. Every running back is injury prone, every single one of them, because every running back gets injured. Dude, name me a running back that can go, that not even Derrick Henry's gone 3 years without an injury. I mean, running backs get injured every year, and they get injured the most. There's definitely got to be a change,
especially featured running backs that are getting the ball and getting hit over 25 times a game,
dude,
and then they have to go block.
Not only that, then when they come to the negotiation table, let's just say that a running back has a career year, 1,800 yards, whatever. Okay, I want my money. Then the team says, well, you did have 374 carries last year, so it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. It's almost like the best thing you can be as a running back is like an untapped commodity. You play 2 games in the first season, you run for 400 yards, you hold out for the guaranteed contract because then they can't. You can say, look, man, I'm averaging 200 yards a game. You can't say that my production isn't there, and you can't say that I don't have wear and tear. So you got to give me my money. You guys see the gridlock it creates at the negotiation table, because if they do well, that's good, but it's also held against them. I just think it's wrong.
You got to be a really good slot receiver too.
Yep.
To even get paid.
I think I'm going to stick to my suggestion last year. If I'm a college kid or a high school kid who can run between the tackles and as a running back, you really need to brush up on your receiving skills, because once you age out of running back position, which is like 27 years old, you could literally have a second act if you were to line up in the slot. Mm-hmm. You're already physical. You can take a hit. You can block. So now you become a thicker, stronger, sort of a better blocking slot receiver, and every team would love that. And who knows, every once in a while, maybe get a carry or two, maybe use them like a Deebo Samuel or something like that. Yeah. Okay, let's go to our next story. Yes, the Trevor Bauer situation. This is, so to make a very long story very short, guys, a couple years ago, Trevor Bauer was wrongly accused of EPAR. The girl said that he choked her and this and that and a third. Not only was Trevor Bauer never arrested, he was never indicted. And in the one legal hearing that it had to do with, he was found to have done nothing wrong. The judge said to the girl, you have not proven anything. You have misled the jury into thinking that you were sexually assaulted. Here's where the problem is. The problem is, as soon as he was accused, the Dodgers put him on administrative leave without pay. Trevor Bauer has now beaten this, and he's still not a Major League Baseball pitcher. This is another case where it is obvious that a woman has falsely accused a professional athlete of doing something he clearly did not do, him suffering the consequences and her getting off scot-free. What are your thoughts, Blaze?
So you remember in the early 2000s, you had Kobe Bryant, who was accused, and he was still playing throughout the finals. When he was going to court, he had to take planes back and forth.
Yeah.
And so we went from that to this, and I will say Trevor Bauer was a Cy Young winner when he was 32, 3 years ago.
Yep.
And he was openly mocking the award.
Yes.
So if he hadn't done that, would the MLB have backed him more than what they did, which was nothing.
No,
And
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Whether he mocked the award or not doesn't matter. You know how sports is. They want to stay out. They want to stay out of the social media crosshairs.
Yeah.
So on Wednesday, you had the commissioner of baseball on First Take. Do you think Stephen A mentioned anything about this? No, he talked about there's only 6.2 black people in the MLB. What are you going to do to solve this? And I'm just like, you have the commissioner of baseball right there. The story is garnering up attention. How do you not mention that? It's disgusting.
It's easy because he works for Disney, and Disney does
Exactly.
not like. Yeah, to me, that's a simple one. Disney is not going to be on the side of men. And Sweet Spot 909 says this story is so unbelievably disgusting. How she cannot be prosecuted is a travesty. Guys, this happens all the time. It's just, It's incredible. Here we are, body of a paragraph. Need daddy to choke me out. There was also a text message thread between her and her friends where they figured out that his net worth was 51 million. And dude was like, girl, she was like, girl, go get the bag. Well, how do I get the bag? I need daddy to choke me out. She literally told us the plans, guys. She told us the plans, just like they did in the Tate Brothers situation. We have the text messages. He's clearly not guilty, yet she's still not being prosecuted. Miami J, what are your thoughts, man?
Yeah, you guys have to forgive me. I don't know much about the individual story. How long ago was this trial?
So there was no trial. It was she accused him 2 years ago.
Okay.
And there have been legal proceedings, but there have been no arrests and
no criminal.
Nope, no criminal, no civil, no nothing.
Well,
but
I agree with what was the guy's username? Sweet Spot.
Oh yeah.
We have to change the law in some way to be able to prosecute these false accusers.
Her insurance company paid her out her lawyer fees to $300K. So
it's
so they paid her lawyer fees.
Well, we said you're completely right about Stephen A. Smith and the fact that he works for Disney, but I gotta flip it a little bit, and I gotta give Disney a little bit of credit because they have stood by Jonathan Majors waiting for the legal process to play out. So
that's because he's you're right, but that's because he's black. If Jonathan Majors were a white man, they'd have turned on his ass too.
You're right. You're absolutely.
It's the same with Deshaun Watson. Do you think a white guy would have got a fully guaranteed contract? And Jonathan Majors is the big bad for their MCU stuff, so they can't get rid of him.
You're absolutely right. The fact that he's black is a big consideration.
Yep.
You're right.
Yep. It really is a shame, man. But what this shows, guys. And here we are. Net worth is 51 million. Body, bitch, you better secure the bag. What are we doing? And look, man. So I watched Whitlock about this, and Jason is starting to lose me on some of his talking points. He talks about the fact, and I agree with him to a degree on some level. Men acting immorally puts you in these positions, but to suggest that if we live these moral and just lives that we're bulletproof from these particular situations, no. We have men who are losing their sports lives over accusations. It doesn't matter how much of a Bible thumper you are. If a girl accuses, I think the only person, and they pointed out a couple of other people, I think the only person that people would universally say, okay, he did not rape that girl, is maybe Tim Tebow. No one will ever think that Tim Tebow would ever do a bad person, do something like that to anybody, though you never really know. But miss me with if you act morally and then good things are going to happen. Dude, men have been trying to act morally. We've been trying to do right by women for the last 75 years. And all we've gotten from them is a collective fuck you. I don't know how we solve this, man. I mean, so what do we do? Jay Blaze, what's the solution to this, man?
They've gotten to the point where in colleges they're warning players, you got to be careful. You're a target. And you don't think these women are going to try it more and more now that they have those deals now?
Oh yeah,
those making millions of dollars. Yeah, and Brittany Renner painted a target on every single athlete's young athlete's back. They're young and dumb.
Yep.
And so you you basically need to like have a camera system in your apartment or house and say, listen,
There you go.
this is for my protection or in yours,
There you go.
and this is what it's going to have to be.
Yeah, that's it. That's what you got to do,
And-
guys. The
And
only,
even that won't save you.
I mean, look, man. If we gotta look, the only way is to have you have to make sure you have video surveillance wherever you have sex, dude. The random one night stands with different girls in different cities. That's over. That's over. It's almost like if I'm a professional athlete, you want to know something, Blaze? They might have to make this a part of the rookie symposium. They might have to get somebody up there and say, hey, look, guys, you guys know your targets. You know, there's false accusations out there. Here are the things you need to do to protect yourself. Video cameras, recording devices. But guess what? As soon as ESPN figures that out, they're going to bitch about that too. Because and see, this is the thing. Women are protected from male nature, but we as men, we're not protected from female nature. Female nature is allowed to run amok and just damage us as much as we want. Yet the bad things that we do, females are protected from them almost universally.
Yeah, we got to find ways to protect ourselves. And it almost feels like these teams are more, well, it doesn't feel like it. It is. They're more concerned about social media backfire than they are about actually respecting the legal system. And if you ask me, that's pretty pathetic.
Oh, yeah. Midas the Apprentice says, with the $2 super chat, says, I would sue the female accuser for lost wages. He did. And so
she has nothing.
He got nothing, and she countersued. Anytime someone countersues, when you sue them, the person doing the countersuing is always the guilty party. Aaron Ramat says, we live in the age where a man with money must have female game to succeed and live around women. Dude, truer words never spoken. Go ahead.
To sue her more, he would have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars. She has nothing. She's an ex-alcoholic that was in rehab.
Yeah.
And you had another picture saying, get the bag, girl. And I'm just like, what are you doing?
Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. Sweet Spot says they need an RP dude to film some video from Donovan or CJ or Fresh and Fit that talks about how they will be targeted by some women for their money. Dude, I mean, there's stuff out there now, but they just don't like it out there.
It's all out there already.
Jesus Christ. Chase Excellence says the in-home cameras okay, he's saying that the in-home cameras will be admissible at some point. Do you think I think at some point they're going to have to make that stuff admissible? Because if video and picture evidence can exonerate you, why can't we see that in court? What? And by the way, the video of her next to him after the night in question without any bruising, her smiling like the cat who ate the canary, that was not admissible in the civil court.
Really?
That's why he did not win the civil case. It's because that video was not admissible. Why would something like that not be admissible? I just don't understand.
The court systems are there to take wealth from men and hand it to women. And they want that. That's why I don't think the cameras will completely make you safe, because they can throw that shit out.
Yep. You're right. No, I agree with you. And this is why men are walking away, guys. This is why, if you have a really good actress, man, and this girl wasn't even a good actress. Like, it was obvious. It was so obvious that he was not guilty. He lost it anyway. So he's 35. I'm sure another team will give him a shot at some point. It just sucks It just sucks that men continue to get screwed over by the system. And yes, you actually made a really good point, Blaze, when you said Brittany Renner painted a target on these students with the NIL deals. She didn't have to paint a target. These bitches were already targeting these guys as soon as NIL came out.
I did hear he is beloved in Japan, like, because you have this really big pitcher, and most of the Japanese like pitchers and hitters are smaller. He is beloved in Japan, and so he's pitching in Japan.
Okay, so it looks like there's a correction here. So Brett Roquemore says, not true, Don. The video was admissible. It was withheld from his legal team. Like, unbelievable.
Yes. The same exact thing happened to Jonathan Majors.
Unbelievable, dude.
The prosecution withheld video that essentially clears him.
You want to know who else did that? Was the DA in Durham with the Duke lacrosse case, Mike Nifong. He failed to give the defense the evidence that the DNA collected from the victim didn't belong to any of the three accusers. Yeah, Brett Roquemore says, yeah, her lawyer should be disbarred. Dude, it's getting out of control, man. It really, really is. It's really getting out of control.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk. All right, so now we are going to make our game picks. We're going to talk about this week's upcoming matches, and then I will reveal to you guys what my power rankings are. So the first matchup is going to happen in London. You got the Buffalo Bills visiting the Jacksonville Jaguars on the road in London. The over-under is 48.5. You've got the Bills as 5.5 point favorites. Where do you see this one headed, Jay Blaze?
I like the Jaguars in this one because
Really?
you had the Bills after a big win against the Dolphins, and the Jaguars were in London last week, so they're acclimated to the climate. And I did hear reports that Josh Allen has to pound coffees to stay pretty get a caffeine fix to feel good.
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually agree with Jay Blaze. I have the Jaguars. I think the what he just mentioned, the travel here is a big issue for the Bills. Normally in London, the great equalizer is that both teams got to travel, but the Jaguars have spent 2 weeks there now, so they're much more acclimated. Now the Jaguars may have a problem coming back.
But yeah, they're not. They will have already played the Bills by then.
Yeah, this week, I'll take the Jaguars all day.
You know what? I think you guys have swayed me. I had not thought about the fact. I knew that Jacksonville had been in London, but you're coming off of, again, an emotional division game. Miami is not all finesse. They're super physical. Apollo says the Bills will have an emotional letdown, which is really what happened. Which is really what happened to the Cowboys when they flew west to play Arizona. Is they had that, who did they dump truck? They dump truck the Giants or some shit like that. They go out to Arizona and they lay a stinker. I think I agree with you guys. I think the Bills, I think they stumble here, and I think it's because of the travel, one of the many factors. Okay, good job.
And the Jaguars are basically London's home team.
Yeah. You know what? There have been talks that Jacksonville might move to London. I don't see that happening, but stranger things have happened.
I don't see it happening.
All right, so we've got the Texans and the Colts in an AFC South showdown. The over-under is 43.5. The Colts are 5-point favorites. Tennessee on the road. Blaze, how do you see this one headed?
See, I don't trust the Titans right now with the Derrick Henry kind of beat up. So I'm going to take the Colts.
Okay. What about you?
Yeah, I got the Colts as well.
Okay.
And what's his name? The running back we just talked about.
Yeah, Derrick Henry.
Jonathan Taylor.
Oh, Jonathan Taylor's got he needs to show out. He needs to earn this contract. If I'm telling him you need to perform. So I got the Colts here.
Yeah, 3 for 3 on this, man.
Look, we're 5 weeks in. The Colts win this game. They're sitting pretty at 3-2 on top of that division. With
Apollo did say I do have the Tennessee covering.
Yeah, I was gonna say. We forgot to talk about whether we're gonna cover or not. So yes, I agree with you guys. I think the Colts win, but Tennessee covers. I'll take the under on the points.
Yeah, I'll take the under.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. All right, let's go to the next game. This is a really, really interesting line. We got Detroit -10. They welcome Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers. Apparently, he is going to be starting this Sunday. That being said, it looks like the Lions are still 10-point favorites. Miami J, how do you see this shaping up?
I don't know if I give the Lions that 10 points of credit, but I do see them winning this game. Okay. They haven't convinced me yet. Mind you, they're 3-1. They've won some great games, but I need to see more. Okay. This is one of those games that when you're a good team, you win the games that you should win. This is one of the. They should win this game. They should win it easily if they're for real. They shouldn't struggle in this. But I don't know if they can cover the 10 points.
Okay. I mean, they have beaten the Chiefs and the Packers, and the Packers are a pretty decent football team. Of course, the Chiefs defending Super Bowl champions. So,
but that's the thing. They're winning the big emotional games, the primetime games. They're winning these games.
Okay.
They'll go out and win on Sunday at 1 p.m. Team you should be.
Gotcha. Okay. So you're saying, listen, go handle your business in the 1 o'clock. Like, we know what you guys can do prime time and with the under the lights. Can you do it on Sunday afternoon? Like you're going to have to most of the season. I like that. What do you think, Blaze?
Lions should be undefeated right now because
They should be.
So I do see the Panthers covering, but I do see the Lions winning, and I think I'm going to take the over. I think there's going to be some cheap points.
Some garbage points.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think the Lions win. I think the Lions win and cover. I think they dog walk the Carolina Panthers. I think they win this game by 2 touchdowns. I've got the Panthers winning this bad boy 28-20. Or I'm sorry, wait, it was 28 to I got them winning 28-14. And if it's 28-14, I'm gonna take the under. I think a total of 42 points are going to be scored. So the Lions, they're going to win, they're going to cover, but I'm taking the under. The next game is, now this is an interesting game. You've got CJ Stroud and the surprising Houston Texans going into Atlanta as a 1.5 point dog. Listen, if you're a home team, you automatically get 3 points for being at home. So what they're really saying here is that Houston is 1.5 points better than Atlanta, but they gave them 3 for the home game. I like Houston and CJ Stroud here. I think they win. I think they cover. And I'll take the over on the 41.5. Blaze, what do you got on this one?
So CJ Stroud, I believe he is second in overall passing yards this season.
Yes, he is.
So I'm going to take the Texans because I do like the quarterback there better than Desmond Ridder.
Yes. Okay.
So yeah, I have the Texans.
Okay. Miami J.
I'll agree with you guys. I like CJ Stroud and the Texans in this game. I actually like the over. I don't know why. I have a sneaky feeling that it might be a shootout.
Yeah, anytime. And listen, CJ Stroud is going to throw the ball all over the yard, just like Jay Blaze said. Second in the NFL in passing. To me, he is the leading candidate for Offensive Rookie of the Year. Very, very surprising. Something else about CJ Stroud is that he does very well against the blitz. And he did very well against the blitz at Ohio State. But CJ Stroud can move, and he's the type of quarterback who I think we have forgotten has that third dimension in terms of being able to pass and, being able to pass. Second dimension, being able to pass the ball and run the ball as well. So, yeah, I think Houston, I think they go into Atlanta. I think they win. I think they cover, and I will definitely take the over. Hey, so the Giants going down to Miami. Now, Miami is going to be grumpy. They just got humiliated on national TV on the road. Here come the Giants. Miami J, what are your thoughts on this?
Look, it's hot out here in Miami. I think the Giants come down and struggle. I think there's a 1:00 game, right?
Hang on, I just had it
yep, there is.
Yep, that's 1 o'clock start. Yep.
Yeah, I think the Giants are going to come down here and struggle. I think the Dolphins are going to run riot on them.
Okay, very good. Blaze?
I'll take the over and the spread.
Over and spread. Okay. What do you got, Blaze?
So the Giants offensive lineman, I believe he's a rookie. He
Andrew
called
Thomas.
out the fans. Yeah, he basically called them poor. I have the Dolphins.
Wait, he called the
boat racing them.
Or the
Giants? No, the Giants offensive lineman basically called his fans poor.
Yeah.
And so I have the Dolphins winning and boat racing him. So I do have the over too.
Yeah, 3 for 3. I think the Dolphins, dude. I think the Dolphins win this game in a blowout.
I think it's 48-14 territory.
I'm thinking 38-3. So I think, I think the Dolphins blow them out. They blow them out, they cover, but I'm going to take the under because where are the points from New York going to come from? Now, I mean, who knows? They could score another 70. But I think. Yeah, I think the Giants defense is a little better than we give them credit for, but you still can't. I mean, dude, now you got to stop Tyreek Hill. You got to stop Jalen Waddle. Now you got Chase Claypool to worry about. There's another toy for Tua to unwrap. So, yeah, I've got
I think
go ahead.
Oh, sorry. If you can get a couple, like 2 or 3 packages for Claypool just to build up his confidence.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, quick screens, quick slants, bubble screens, things of that nature.
Let me get some from the fridge. I'll be right back.
Oh, okay, cool. This is a very interesting game. We've got the Ravens and the Steelers. Ravens are 4.5 point favorites going into Pittsburgh. Where do you see this one ending up, Jay?
I have the Ravens because I don't trust the Steelers OC, and Yeah, I think the Ravens cover, and that those aren't a lot of points.
No, it's really
I think, yeah, I'm gonna go over.
okay. So you're going to take the Ravens to win and cover, and you're going to take the over.
Yeah.
Okay. Miami J, what are your thoughts on this game?
I think I just heard Jay Blaze. I think I'm on the same route. I'll take the Ravens. Yeah, especially with the spread, and I'll take the over.
Dre Raven said AFC North games can get ugly, so tend to be unpredictable. I'm picking the Steelers at home. Look, man, Matt Canada, he's been under fire, and I think the Steelers are sick and tired of people maligning their offense. I don't know how they get it done, but I think the Steelers win, which means they don't. Well, which means they cover or don't cover. But I'm definitely taking the under. I see this being an ugly 17-13, 17-14, 20-17 football game. I think it's going to be one in the trenches, but I think the Steelers are going to pull this off because they need this game more than the Baltimore Ravens do. So
It can't be hard to be unpredictable, seeing that your offense is so predictable, and they have quite a few weapons.
Oh my God, they are loaded, dude. They're loaded. Yeah, they need another offensive coordinator. That's for sure. Now this is another interesting game. This is basically a pick'em game. We've got the New Orleans Saints going up to New England to visit the Patriots. The Patriots are 1-point favorites at home. Miami J, how do you see this game shaping up?
Give me the Saints all day, man.
Okay, all right.
Give me the Saints. I'll take them. I'll take it. I'll take the over. I think Alvin Kamara's back. I think he runs riot.
Okay, Jay Blaze, what you got?
I like the Saints. I'm hoping Derek Carr's shoulder's feeling better.
Yeah.
But I don't trust the Patriots at all.
Yeah.
I think they're one of the bottom 5 teams.
I think the Patriots, I'm going to take the Saints to win, but I'm going to take the under.
Yeah.
I think it could, I don't know. I'm going to take the under because the Patriots offense is anemic. But what worries me about taking the under here is the fact that Alvin Kamara is back. And I think he's got fresh legs. I think he's going to run roughshod over that Patriots defense, who is now without Matthew Judon because he tore his bicep tendon.
I will say the Patriots could be interesting if they get Devontae Adams. You need to trade for Devontae Adams because if you can give Mac Jones a serious weapon, I would be very curious to see what he could do with a top 5 wideout.
Yeah, Devontae Parker and Juju Smith, they're not cutting it. Juju's another guy they should not have paid. I don't know how his agent managed to pull that off, but that's a great trade.
Myers was Mac's favorite receiver, and he went to the Raiders. How do you pay Juju and lose Myers? It doesn't make sense.
Again, that is a sign of an organization that is not well run. Yes, and the Patriots traded back for J.C. Jackson from the Los Angeles Chargers. So who knows? Will J.C. Jackson play this game for New England? Yeah, probably. All he's got to do is all he really has to do is cover either Michael Thomas or Chris Olave, and he should be good to go. Brett Roquemore says Eagles and Niners are the only undefeated teams left. I think the 49ers are going to beat the Cowboys and dominate. I was going to say almost good timing. So this one is a very interesting game. So we have the Eagles, and we're going to discuss that game here shortly, Brett. But we got the Philadelphia Eagles off of a pretty tough win against the Washington Commanders. This is going to essentially be a Philadelphia Eagles home game. And I mean, look, I think we go into Los Angeles. I think we beat them. I think we cover, but I'm taking the under on the 50. What are your thoughts, Jay Blaze?
I think so. I believe Cooper Kupp is back this year. This game.
That's right. Cooper and Puka.
Yeah, and I think he's 1-2 for Rookie of the Year because that guy is dominating.
Dude, he is awesome.
Oh yeah, and did you see his him getting emotional on that Sunday game for the national anthem?
Yeah,
we need more players like that.
Yes, we do.
Absolutely.
Yes, we do. Yeah, that's a man who's actually proud to be in America. Did I already get what do you got, Miami J? Do you think the Eagles are going to win and cover? What do you think?
I think the Eagles win. Obviously, they cover, and I'll take the over. I think the Eagles are going to go in there and just pound them.
Okay, very good.
Yeah, I think the Eagles win.
Yeah, I do too. Apollo says they win with a late field goal. I don't think we blow them out, but I don't think we win. I think we win by more than 4. I think we go down there. I think we cover. I think we probably hang between 25 and 30 on them and just choke the life out of them late. Our next game, now this is another very interesting game. Joe Burrow is no longer on the injury report, which means this is the best he has felt all season long. For weeks and weeks, all 3 of us were like, Burrow's got to sit. Burrow's got to sit. He didn't sit. He played awful, but guess what? He went into LA and he got that win on Monday Night Football. The Cavs seems to be doing okay, and now they're 3-point favorites going into Arizona. How do you see that game playing out, Jay Blaze?
So I need Joe Burrow to have a big game because goddamn Rolo had the guy for the Panther or the Bears who dropped 50. No, he dropped 50. The wideout, DJ Moore, and he ruined me. Yeah, so man. I need Joe Burrow to have a big game. So I'm going to take the Bengals to just wreck them. I'm hoping so.
Okay, very good. So Bengals win, they cover. Miami J.
Yeah, I actually got Tyler Boyd in my fantasy team on this.
Oh, here we go.
But I think the Bengals are reaching the point where if they hope to make a playoff run, they are desperate. They need this win. They really, really do. There's a big difference between 2 and 3 and 1 and 4.
1 and 4. Huge difference, man. Huge difference.
Like every game for them right now is a playoff game.
That's right.
They hope to make. So,
and it's not like Cincinnati's never been in this position before. Zach Taylor has been their he's been their head coach for 4 years. This is the 3rd year that they have started 0-2 or 1-3. So, and they made the playoffs every year, AFC title games, made a Super Bowl one. So I don't know.
Yeah, they need this game. I do take the under. I do think it's going to be a low scoring affair, but I think Cincinnati out of desperation pulls it out.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Cincinnati by 3. I'm gonna go with the push, and I'm gonna take the under. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the push, man. Look, I think Joe Burrow is still he's the healthiest he's ever been, but now he has to learn how to play. Now he has to relearn how to play football. Now that he has all of his faculties, I think they probably start off a little sluggish. I think Arizona stays in there because Arizona is a little feistier than I think we all thought. At the beginning of the year, after having beat the Cowboys, given the Giants given the Redskins all they could handle. So I think this is going to be a close one. I think the Bengals win by exactly 3, and I'm taking the under on the 44.
I will say Gannon is a better coach than I thought because people were clowning him in the preseason.
Yep.
But I will say you need to turn it around. You need a quarterback to buy in, and I don't see that with the Cardinals.
No, I don't either. Jonathan Gannon's very, very good head coach. He has total control over that whole building, but he is a defensive head coach, so he needs an offensive coordinator. Kansas City at Minnesota. This is an interesting game. So Kansas City, they're 3.5-point favorite on the road. The over-under is 53. Blaze, how do you see this one going?
The Vikings have looked like hit or miss every week. And Casey, they barely pulled that last week game off.
Yeah.
With the officials that deserve the game ball.
Yes.
With that one.
That's good.
I will take. I'm going to take the Vikings.
Wow, the Vikings in an upset. You're going to take the over on? Well, hell, if you're going to pick the Vikings, you got to take the over, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, very good. Miami J, how do you see this one playing out?
Yeah, I definitely take the over. I actually think this is going to be one of the closest games of the week. I think it's a 50-50 shot. I think that the Chiefs, they haven't looked all there yet to me.
Okay.
I think the Vikings have looked better than their record indicates.
Yeah.
So I think this may be a trap game for Kansas City. They're going to Denver next week. That's a big rivalry.
Yep.
We'll see. But I think this might be one of the closest games. This might be the game of the week that goes to overtime.
I think we're underestimating Kansas City's defense here. Kirk Cousins is going to put up stats because that's just what Kirk Cousins does. But I think this ends up being a shootout. I'm going way over. I think the Chiefs win this game 50-37. I think it's going to be a wild shootout. It's going to be Mahomes. It's going to be Kelsey. It's going to be Jefferson. It's going to be Cousins. I think Alexander Madison will probably score 2 or 3 touchdowns. I think it'll be a shootout it'll be a shootout late, and then Kansas City pulls away at the very end, and I think they get into the 50s. This will be the most entertaining game to watch.
You think Taylor Swift goes to Minnesota?
Oh my God, yeah, I would imagine so. And they're calling the Kansas City Swifties now.
Jesus Christ!
Oh, God Almighty.
I can't stand it.
Now the Nathaniel Hackett Bowl. We all remember the comments that Sean Payton made. He caught a lot of heat, but Sean Payton was right. Nathaniel Hackett is a shitty head coach. Here's the deal, man. I hope the Broncos absolutely curb stomp these New York Jets. I really, really do. I like the Jets, and I like a lot of their players, but I can't stand all of these sports pundits taking up for Nathaniel Hackett because Sean Payton told the truth. Sean Payton was correct, man. Like, this was one of the worst jobs ever. You took a potential Hall of Fame quarterback. Your Hall of Fame quarterback was so bad, he actually had people thinking he was washed up. The only reason why Hackett even has a job in New York is because he's good friends with Aaron Rodgers. And now, so everyone is going to try, this is the Hackett Bowl. Is Hackett going to get his get back? What get back? He was an abject fucking disaster in Denver, and he deserved the criticism. I'm taking the Broncos to win by 14. I got him 30-16. What about you, Blaze?
Yeah, Hackett, you see his offensive coordinating stuff. He makes things so complex, and you just know he did that in Denver.
Yes.
Yeah.
So some of these head coaches, you just have to be simple. You got to get people to buy in and just say, hey, let's just pull along. You saw McVay in some of those Hard Knocks. He doesn't do anything complex. He's palling around with the guys, and they want to play with him.
Yeah.
So, dude, Zach Wilson showed me a lot of things in that Jets game. They should have won that game.
They should have.
And dude, Denver got behind a lot of points with even the Bears, who are god awful.
Of course.
I'm gonna take the Jets.
Taking the Jets. All right, Miami J, what do you got?
Look, I desperately want to take the Broncos, but they're at home. I'll give them that. But it remains that their only win is against the measly Chicago Bears.
Yeah.
I think the 70 points still hurt them.
Yeah,
So
it takes a while to recover from that.
Yeah, it takes a while to recover from that. I'm not sure their confidence is all there. I do like the direction that Sean Payton's moving. I think he did the right thing by telling the truth. Absolutely.
Good.
But it's going to take a long time to fix that stuff.
Yeah.
So having said that, I'll take the Jets. I'll take the under here. I think it'd be a low-scoring game.
Okay, very good. That should be another wildly entertaining game. The game of the week, the Dallas Cowboys going to San Francisco to play against the best team, arguably, in pro football, the San Francisco 49ers. The over-under is at 45. San Fran, that sounds about right. 3.5-point favorites. Blaze, where do you see this? Or I'm sorry, Miami J, where do you see this one going?
I like the Niners a lot.
Okay.
Like I said a couple of weeks ago, I actually don't think the Cowboys have it up here.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
I don't think they have the mental toughness to get through it. I actually think San Francisco curb stomps them.
Okay.
I think look, the Cowboys defense is very good, but I think Christian McCaffrey's gonna run riot, and this quarterback Purdy seems to be the real deal.
Jeez, oh my God. Jay Blaze, where do you see this one headed?
The Cowboys' run defense is god awful, and I don't trust Dak. I don't trust him at all. So I have the 49ers winning by maybe 10.
Yeah, 3 for 3, man. I think the Niners cover. I think they win. I think they cover, and I'm going to take the over. Brett Roquemore says this perfectly. He says, Cowboys got all the talent, but they are coached poorly. They have not had a good coach for over 9 years.
Agreed.
Look, man, the Cowboys, they have one of the best rosters in football. They're stacked on both sides of the ball, just like the Eagles and the 49ers are. But they have this psychological thing. The Niners have eliminated them in playoffs, 2 times in a row. They're the better football team. This game is going to be on the road. I will tell you this: if the Dallas Cowboys go into San Francisco and win that game, however they have to win, they will be considered the best team in the NFL.
Yeah.
Apollo says, I think San Francisco wins. Dallas will be too emotional to try to win the game, and they make mental mistakes that will cost them. Oof. I love Micah Parsons, but he just talks too much. He really does. He's kind of young. He's kind of young and dumb, but he's really, 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 really good. I think he should just stop talking, man, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Okay. Last and final game. The Monday nighter. We've got the Green Bay Packers going into into Las Vegas. It's basically a pick'em game. The Raiders 1-point favorites. Who you got in this one, Blaze?
Can we even call it a home field? Because you just had the owner of the Raiders calling out his and saying they're stupid, his fan base.
Yeah.
Can you even call it a home game?
Probably not.
No.
I'm going to take the Packers. I don't trust McDaniel or the Raiders.
Okay. You taking the over or the under?
I will take the under.
Okay. Miami Jane, who do you think wins?
I'm with Jay Blaze. I'll take the Packers. I think the Raiders are a mess. I really, really do. I think Love is coming into his own. I think the Packers are going to start putting it together here. And I'll take the under.
Okay. I'm going to take the under, but I'm going to pick the Raiders here. I think the Raiders have a better defense than people give them credit for. Max Crosby is quietly having a very, very good year. Max Crosby doesn't get the press that he does because he's on the West Coast, and of course there's Chris Jones out in Kansas City. There's Nick Bosa and TJ Watt. I think Max Crosby is definitely up there with the elite edge rushers. He just doesn't get the amount of run, but something tells me that the Raiders will play inspired football, especially if Jimmy G comes back. The guys really seem to love him. Go ahead, Blaze.
No, I was just agreeing with you. Garoppolo would help matters immensely because I do like their rookie, but I don't think he's nearly ready. He's not ready.
He's a gunslinger, but he'll need a year or two before he is ready. But he's better than I thought.
Yeah, to back up.
All right, it is now time for the last segment of the show. It is the power rankings according to your boy. So let's go ahead and get started. My number 10 team are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Buccaneers are 3-1. Their only loss coming against the Eagles on Monday night. They had a very good bounce back game. Baker Mayfield is having a career year, which is kind of odd, which kind of goes against my defensive head coach theory. But hey, listen, man, exceptions do exist for a reason, and there are outliers, and Baker appears to be one of them. Next, number 9, I think Seattle is locked in. They should be 2-2, but they are 3-1. Just, give them the W, controversial win or not. Very, very good defense. If they've got weapons all over the field at the skill positions. Jackson Smith and Jigba, Kenneth Walker, Geno Smith is the trigger man. You've got DK and Tyler Lockett on the outside. I've got the Seahawks at 9. Number 8, the Detroit Lions, also 3-1. The reason why I put the Lions ahead of the Seahawks is because the Lions should have beaten the Seahawks. They absolutely got screwed. Look, I think the Lions are for real. I think they're going to win the NFC Central by at least 2 games. That's why I have them at number 8. At number 7, I've got the Baltimore Ravens. Even though they kind of stumbled against the Colts, I still think they're a solid football team. It sucks that they've lost J.K. Dobbins, but they're not used to playing with J.K. Dobbins anyway. So I've got the Ravens at number 7. At number 6, I have the Miami Dolphins. Look, the Dolphins are probably a better team than number 6, but when you go on the road and you get dump trucked, you're gonna lose a few spaces. Just like Tua said, a lot of guys needed to be humbled, and I think they got humbled. That's why I think they're gonna win going away against their next opponent. Number 5, I've got the Dallas Cowboys. They've got a good chance to be number 1 if they beat the San Francisco 49ers. Look, the Cowboys have been great all year long. Yeah, they stubbed their toe against the Cardinals. They don't quite look the same. I don't trust Dak Prescott. It's going to be a very, very tough game against San Francisco. So that's why I've got number 5. At number 4, I've got the Kansas City Chiefs. Look, they're the Super Bowl champs. They've lost only 1 game. That's the number 8 team. The Detroit Lions. Patrick Mahomes seems to be, getting things dialed up. That young defense is getting better and better and better. I don't know that you guys know this, but the Kansas City Chiefs have the youngest defense in the NFL. They managed to get Charvarius Ward over from the San Francisco 49ers. I think that helped to bolster their defense as well. Number 3, I've got the Philadelphia Eagles. Yes, we beat the Redskins, but it took overtime to do it. A lot of bullshit defensive penalties. But the reason why I have them at 3 is because the Bills are playing the best football right now in the NFL. They were my pick out of the AFC to go to the Super Bowl. They just had Miami. They dump trucked those boys. They did what they had to do. They've got a tough task going to London to play the Jacksonville Jaguars. But right now I have them at number 2. And number 1, until they lose, it's the San Francisco 49ers. They are the most balanced team in football, offensively and defensively. Dude, Nick Bosa, Dre Greenlaw, Fred Warner, all over the place on one. Jimmy Ward, one side of the football. Not only do you have to worry about Christian McCaffrey, you got to worry about Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, and of course, Brock Purdy is a trigger man. He does not make mistakes. I've got San Francisco at number 1. So, Blaze, what are your initial thoughts on my list? Any omissions, deletions, subtractions? What you got?
I think the Dolphins are better than the Cowboys. But if you look at who the Cowboys are playing, they have played bottom feeders.
Yeah.
And I think they're overinflated of what they actually are. And I would say I do like how Baker's playing, and that offensive coordinator is working really well with him.
Yes.
But I like it so far. If a couple of these teams get some quality wins, they might elevate, in my opinion.
Okay, very good. Miami J, what are your thoughts?
All right, where should I start? I think
here we go.
I think you got the pool of the 10 teams right.
Oh, okay.
I think those are the top 10 teams in football right now. However, I'm switching the Seahawks with the Ravens.
Seahawks with Ravens. Okay.
I'm switching the Dolphins with the Cowboys.
Cowboys. Okay.
I'm putting the Bills at number 4. I'm putting KC and Philly ahead of them.
Okay.
And I would move the Bucks to number 9 and Detroit to number 10.
Okay. Look,
so I would look a little bit different.
Yeah, look, I don't have a problem with either one of the suggestions. Apollo says Eagles ahead of Buffalo, undefeated is undefeated. Yeah, I guess I would agree with that.
So especially on the Cowboys Dolphins point, there's a big difference in losing to Arizona and losing to Buffalo.
Ooh, okay. Yep, there it is. Okay. Yeah, the Dolphins, as a matter of fact, you could almost make the case that the quality opponent, you could move them up to number 3, because Kansas City lost to Detroit, which is a good team, but the Dolphins lost to a better team. So that makes sense. I like that. That you guys have definitely convinced me that my list was wrong once again. Who knows? Maybe I'll do it better next week. Okay, gentlemen, your final thoughts on today's subject matters, this week's games, et cetera, et cetera. Jay Blaze, fire first.
Yeah, we gotta figure out that Trevor Bauer stuff and make sure it doesn't happen again. But it won't happen. But
nope,
sadly.
Miami J, your final thoughts.
Well, not to take it a little off topic. I know we didn't.
Oh, that's right. No, let me put the fucker stuff up. No, we're good. I got it up here. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Well, just to, I never thought I would say this, but I got to give Greg Berhalter a shout out for his.
Wait. What?
Yeah. This is the best roster he's ever selected. So the U.S. soccer team, national soccer team's got 2 games coming up against Germany and Ghana. They're friendlies in preparation for the Copa America next summer. Germany and Ghana are the teams that we should be playing. What we did last month was pathetic against Oman and Kazakhstan or something. But the biggest thing, he selected all the right players. A couple of omissions are Anthony Robinson, who's dealing with injury, Tyler Adams dealing with injury, and of course John Brooks. But he did 2 good things. One, he actually mentioned John Brooks in his press conference, which he hasn't done in like 3 years. So that tells us that maybe he is opening to bring him back. But Donovan, the biggest thing right there, we see Gio Reyna has been included in the roster.
Thank God.
But there's something even bigger. He put him in as a midfielder, which is what we were all begging for him to do during the World Cup.
Okay. So you think he's better? So you think Gio's not a good? You think he's a better midfielder than a striker?
Yeah, that's where he plays his club ball. That's where he made his name. That's where he plays. We need that creative presence in the midfield, and that's something we haven't had since Berhalter took over.
Yep.
The midfield we had in the World Cup with Adams, McKennie, and Musa.
Yes. Yes.
Fantastic midfield, but it's missing that creative piece.
And Gio is a magician with the ball, dude.
Exactly. So if we don't have Tyler Adams this for these 2 games. So let's play Musa, McKennie, and Adams in the midfield. Sorry, Musa, McKennie, and Reyna.
Yeah, Weston McKennie. Okay, yeah. I think the combination between Gio, and Weston in the midfield, man. I think that's big. I think that's big trouble. Tim Weah is always a speedster. You pair him up with Christian Pulisic, man. You got those. It's almost like you can play basketball on the soccer field.
Yeah, pretty much.
Kind of like fast break style offense.
Christian Pulisic, he's playing lights out. He had a fantastic goal to win the game for AC Milan today.
Yep. Yeah. I saw that actually.
And another big encouraging thing is that we don't see any of these MLS lifers that the Berhalter favorites. We don't see Kellen Acosta, we don't see Aaron Long, we don't see Paul Arriola, and we don't see Christian Roldan on this roster, which is
we
great.
got fucking dudes.
Don't get me wrong, great soccer players, very serviceable, but they're not for the national team. The national team is essentially an all-star team.
Jesus,
those guys don't belong. So it's a very good thing that Berhalter didn't pick them. So I'm very encouraged by this roster.
Okay, so this is the $1 million question, and the answer is probably no, but does the U.S. have a chance to win the World Cup in 2026?
Well, okay, so all the pundits always say, well, keep it realistic, blah, blah, blah. Can we win? Can we not? If you're not going to try to win it, why the hell go?
First that makes sense.
Your mentality is going to be to win. Second, can we actually do it? Look, it's a home World Cup. We're never going to have a better chance than we're going to have in 2020. Let's just put it that way. Can we win? We can.
Yeah.
If the preparation is right, if the team is right, if the preparation is key, Donovan. We don't have a qualifying round where we can fine-tune all those things. We're automatically qualified.
That's true. We need a couple of friendlies, right?
Exactly. We got to be playing these teams like Germany, like Ghana, not like we did last night.
Yeah.
Now, next week, unfortunately, the Nations League does kind of hurt us because we don't have more time for friendlies.
Okay.
But we do have the Copa America and the Olympics that's here. There will be some kind of tournament in 2025. We got to first off, we got to bring our A team to all of these things.
Yes, totally agree.
Guys that don't have a chance to be in 2026.
I agree.
So can we win it? We can, but everything's got to fall into place, and we need luck along the way.
I agree. I think this is the best chance that the U.S. had to win the National Cup since 1994 when it was in Chicago.
Well, sorry, in 94, the U.S. never had a chance.
Oh, they didn't?
No, the U.S. was a very new team. Most of the players weren't even professionals.
Oh, okay.
The U.S. was never going to win in 94. In fact, the fact that they made it out of their group was a huge surprise to us.
So it's almost like they were kind of like the 1980 U.S. Olympic team for hockey.
Exactly.
Just like that.
Yeah, exactly. So the U.S. is never going to have a better chance to win, at least for the next 50 years. We're never going to have a better shot.
I agree, dude. We got, Aronson, dude, like, we're loaded, man. Like, this has to be it.
You mentioned Aronson. He's a great player. I love him. He belongs on this team.
Yep.
Be careful. If we sign, there's this guy who's playing in England, playing lights out. Italy's courting him very hard, but he is a dual national. His name's Luca Coglioscio.
Oh, okay.
If you can get him to commit, Aronson's spot's in danger because this guy's lights out. And if you have Pulisic, Coglioscio, and Balogun up top, be careful.
Okay, very good. Boy, dude, cogent soccer analysis. I'm sorry, cogent international football analysis. Man, good stuff, guys. Thank you guys very, very much for tuning in. We will see you guys. I'm not sure. Well, we might do a sports podcast remote down in Miami because we're all going to be there next weekend. So
yeah, we can do a whole little.
Oh yeah, that'll be great. That'll be great. Yeah, we got to get together and do something like that.